I take the stance that human society today would be better off without religion. Not perfect, but better. There are various ways modern religion harms societies, traumatizes individuals, and hinders scientific progress, as I've touched on in previous videos on the subject. It's also worth noting that religious institutions do a great deal of positive work in the modern world. They often organize charity events, offer a sense of community, and provide comfort to people in dark times. Having said that, I believe we now live in a time where secular organizations can offer those benefits far more efficiently as their primary objectives, rather than as byproducts of the church's goals to spread the gospel, build the congregation, and stuff the collection plates. A different question is if the world today would be better off if religion had never existed. It's difficult to predict what things would be like if any major part of history was seamlessly extracted. It's impossible to test, so conclusions on the matter are all pure speculation. It's also impossible to execute, so even if there was an objective resolution on the matter, we couldn't take meaningful action based on our findings. With acknowledgement of those things, it's still an interesting question to muse over. Religion was actually a springboard for early science. The Skeptical Heretic mentions some good examples about this in the video link below. Additionally, on an individual basis, many religious people have adopted lifestyles or philosophies through their religion that led to scientific contributions. Gregor Mendel was a priest who also had an extensive background in physics and a passion for scientific study. As head of a monastery, his work with breeding plants at the abbey led him to become the father of modern genetics. A physicist and Roman Catholic priest, was responsible for connecting the dots of several principles of cosmology and mathematics to arrive at what we now know as the Big Bang Theory. Many times, brilliant religious people have sought to prove the works of God that they diligently believed in, and through their search arrived at scientific discovery. This is not to say that had religion not been a cornerstone in those people's lives, that they never could have made the same discovery, or that someone else wouldn't have eventually made them as well. But, if nothing else, it's only fair to point out that people with highly religious motivations have contributed greatly to secular society. On the other side of the coin, religion has also held back a great deal of potential scientific progress. Most obviously, it enabled people to make up answers to soothe the hunger induced by the gaps in their knowledge. The wheels of scientific progress may have turned more rapidly had our ancestors not been content to believe that phenomena of nature were actions of gods, but discovered them to be natural occurrences with predictable, testable cause-effect relationships and power they could harness. Not all people who swallow religious mythos turn out like Mendel and seek objective truth through science. Many would-be scientific minds are instead stunted by the mystic rituals and scientific discouragement of fundamentalist churches, which we could have done without. On that note, imagine if every unit of currency ever spent to build a church, temple, shrine, or to pay a pastor, or to make a religious offering was spent on scientific development or humanitarian causes. No one can say just how far we would have advanced as a culture under that circumstance, but there's also no proof that had religion not existed, all of those resources would have gone to those particular investments instead of something even more frivolous. Religion also brought social order to uncivilized people at the dawn of humanity's evolution. There was a time that we weren't developed enough to understand nuances like diplomacy or a carefully developed social moral structure. We were able to ask questions about the world around us and to comprehend concepts of karma, though, hence religion. It was useful in uniting regional groups and emphasizing a sense of right and wrong, as if from a higher authority figure that early man required. However, we're beyond that now, more civilized than that, and the same religions that kept order and brought unity to regionalized social groups eventually created lasting fissures between separate regions. Religion has become a tool for political leverage today, revered above many other issues of actual governing policy. It also inspires irrational behavior, such as sending people to war believing they're defending a faith which will shield them against foes who carry identical convictions. I cannot simply dismiss the contributions that religion has made in the early parts of human history. Both positive and negative demand acknowledgement. I'm not prepared to claim that its inexistence from history would automatically strictly improve the modern world. I am prepared to defend the claim that we as a species have outgrown its necessity. It's time to remove the theological training wheels from our social and moral philosophies and adopt those that can stand on their own practical merits. It's time for churches, mosques, and temples to be remodeled into schools, shelters, and soup kitchens. It's time for those who look upon the natural world with wonder to seek answers from a science book rather than a holy book. Religion has served its purpose, but it's time to move on.